Licorice Pizza, a term for vinyl 12-inch long playing or LP record, named because it is black and about the same size as a pizza.
And welcome to another edition of Licorice Pizza. I am back, just like Aquaman. Okay, so anyway, if you haven't seen Aquaman, check it out. The first one's great, by the way. All right, nice to be with you again. And it's time for Licorice Pizza. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, okay? And the t-shirts, no matter what size, do check that out here on Licorice Pizza. We're going to have a good time today. It's good to be back. It really is. And who do I have today? Well, I have the band BTO. You know, it's like a bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich, BLT, but no, it's a band. BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive. Many of you have heard of that group. And first of all, I'll start with, how do you start it out? Well, let's start with the main guy in Bachman Turner Overdrive would be Randy Bachman. He was a member of the phenomenal Canadian band, the Guess Who. They had a few hits. Yeah, they had just tons of hit records. And Randy Bachman, of course, left that band. They had their first really major hit in the U.S., the Guess Who did, 1969. First time I heard that song, I was listening to one of those transistor radios. And I think it was July 3rd, my birthday. And guess what comes on? These Eyes by the Guess Who. I said, great song. Never heard of the Guess Who before. But Randy Bachman, a year past that, during their period where they released American Woman, they're getting right to their peak. He left the band because of health issues. And 1970, wow, right at their, No Sugar Tonight was off that album. And they're just killing it here in the U.S. That year. But Randy Bachman left the band 1970 and formed another band. There's a lot of stuff in between there we won't go into, but, really BTO started organizing in 72. And Randy had two brothers in the band. If I can get my notes here for you, folks. There was, I know his brother Tim Bachman was with the band, and another Bachman, then a guy by the name of Turner, last name Turner. I don't know exact name here because you get to my age, you forget about stuff. So anyway, we'll go up to 1973, their debut release, Bachman Turner Overdrive. And at the time, 73, I was a whopping 16 years of age. And I didn't hear about them that year, May of 1973. But they had some great tunes off that. Blue Collar was one of the songs off this album. If you've never heard it, check it out. It's an album cut. And Hold Back the Water, another great, great song off that first album. And I can't believe I did not know about BTO back in 73 because I was really in the music, me and my friends were. And I didn't hear about it until the follow-up. Yes. BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive 2. And here's the song that really, really changed everything for them. It's called, you might have heard, Taking Care of Business. So I kept hearing it on the radio back in that time. I say, who is this band? I hardly knew who Randy Bachman was. I knew he was with the Guess Who, but Taking Care of Business, all these stations started to play that song. I said, I've got to get this album. So that was my introduction to Bachman Turner Overdrive, the second album. Let It Ride, another big hit off that particular album, Let It Ride. And that's a really solid album. And on we go to the third release, September of 74. Yeah, this kind of late 74 into early 75. Not Fragile was the name of it. It's a fantastic album. What can you say? Roll On Down the Highway, great rocker. You know, I'll have to play that on my radio show coming up. And You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. So I'll stop. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Randy Bachman had a brother that stuttered. Okay, now here's the story. I was in Brockville back in 2006, Brockville, Ontario. And maybe some of you people watching right now, maybe you were there too. Randy Bachman had a like story time where I had first row seats, right sitting at the first row. Right there's the stage, Randy Bachman performing, and he goes through all the Guess Who classic songs, These Eyes, No Time Undone, American Woman. How did they get, how did they write all this stuff? And he told the story after every song. Great band, by the way, performing. I did buy the DVD. He did sign it. One thing he's not real fond of, do you have a pick, or can you sign this little thing? And where people go and sell stuff off eBay or what have you. He's not real fond of that. But I did buy that DVD right there. I said, I'm going home with that. That's how great this show was. And he signed it, and I left. They still have that today. Brockville Theater. What a beautiful theater they have in Brockville, Ontario. Great acoustics. And Randy Bachman came out with an acoustic guitar, not electric. The keyboard was electric, but the bass, kind of an acoustic bass too, the bass player and the drummer. And just fantastic show. And he traveled all over Canada. Vancouver, Montreal, did a show in Toronto of story time. Like, because people wonder, how were these songs written? How did it come about? And that's how it came about. And he told the story, If You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. His brother stuttered. And somehow, some way, he stuttered during the song, I believe, when they were recording it. And he said, oh, this can't work. And he said, wait a minute. I like the way this sounds. So they ended up doing it that way. And that might have became maybe their biggest hit they ever had as far as top 40 radio goes. I think that was their biggest hit. That's how that song came about. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. He told that story about his brother stuttering, and yeah, not bad. It worked out really, really well. That's off that album, Roll On Down the Highway. That's an incredible rocker. But for those of you that are watching, if you went to see Randy Bachman, the story time or storytellers it was, just put on a fantastic show. And that was a great night going over there. And then they followed up with a release called Four Wheel Drive, and they had a hit with Hey You that came off that album, and the song Four Wheel Drive, some pretty heavy stuff. And we'll back up. Taking Care of Business kind of was a song that they just kind of were jamming on stage one night and started playing around with it. And then Randy Bachman, he said, I kind of like the way this goes. Then I think a day or two after, I'm not sure the exact time, but I heard a radio station say, hey, we're taking care of business. Randy Bachman said, there's the title. Some songs are written that way. They just, they don't sit down and have the title already. It's just by life circumstances, day by day. And the song just comes together, kind of rolls into one. So that's how that was written. But if you want to check out, you can find this, just Google it, the song Taking Care of Business. And there's a lot to it. I don't have time to get into all of it. But if you look up certain songs, they'll tell you the whole history, behind that song. But I'm just telling you what Randy Bachman said in Brockville. Some amazing stories behind the Guess Who songs and BTO songs, for that matter. But getting back to Four Wheel Drive album, a fantastic album. Commercially as successful as the others, probably not. But I rate it right up there as far as just a great album. That's one of those no skip albums. The four-wheel drive album is every song on it's great. Love it. And then they released Head On, Take It Like a Man again. As far as top 40 stuff, no, they didn't have the success there. Take It Like a Man. But we get to the part of this show, which I really love. The favorite slice and the underrated slice. Love this part of the program. My favorite song came from that Head On album. Yeah, 1976. December 75. A lot of times, being in radio, people always say, when was that released? And I'm saying, technically December of 75, but then the album really takes off in 76. We saw that with Boston, Peter Frampton, artists like that. The album just gets even bigger the year later, or especially if it's late in the year, like December of 75, okay, goes right into 76. But getting to my favorite Slice BTO song, you're going to say Taking Care of Business. No. Love the song, still like that song. But my favorite one's off that album called Looking Out for Number One. Very jazzy. It's kind of, especially the last part, they go in a whole different tempo in that song. Starts out one tempo, then it really changes. And it's a real jazz, because Randy Bachman's a huge jazz fan, loves playing jazz guitar. And Looking Out for Number One, I'd say it's one of their more popular album cuts, Looking Out for Number One. And the underrated slice, I'm going to go with a tune off their very first album, and I mentioned this at the start of the program, Blue Collar. Blue Collar, underrated, great song. And my favorite album by BTO is going to be the first one. And I never listened to it. It's 73, ends up my favorite. Don't Hold Back the Water and song Blue Collar. Just a great album by Bachman, Turner, Overdrive. Now they did do a tour in 2023, a small tour, BTO did, but I really wanted to focus on their first 5 albums, but great band. And songs like Taking Care of Business, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Rocking Down the Highway, they're going to be around forever, these songs. Randy Bachman wrote some amazing stuff with the Guess Who, but to be blessed with another great band in Bachman, Turner, Overdrive is pretty special. Yeah, Randy Bachman. And that is going to do it. Now, first, before we conclude the program today, I just want to say, make sure you put a like, comment, and subscribe, okay? And fantastic t-shirts. They all come in different colors, different sizes. Licorice Pizza t-shirts. And until the next time, peace out.